do you do that? Are you a scientist?
Rockets, actually. Rocket scientists. Yeah.
It's a good field to be in.
Yeah. Lots of people like it. They all think they can't do it, but they can.
Rocket science?
Yes.
I know.
Everyone can. You just got to believe in yourself. Shoot straight up. There
Yes.
you go. Going live now on
live
that channel.
Right now.
Right
on
now. This show
This show.
on that channel.
On that channel.
Yeah.
And this is our first political content show. It's me, Hugh. Hi, everyone. And, of course, that was Veronica.
I'm Veronica. Today and tomorrow probably as well.
Yeah, see, Lamar has his hands busy over there, so although...
He is busy.
I'm okay.
He's doing audio, he's doing video, he's doing a lot of stuff. And, Nahum, are you coming on the show?
I am.
Right now?
Right now.
No, I'm just asking because I see you putting the tie. Well, first of all, well, we'll get you to sit there, but we also need you to bring a mic over whenever you're ready to do that. And we'll get you set up. So here we are, Veronica.
Yeah, we have begun.
We've begun, and we're kind of doing it, just doing
Freestyle?
it. Freestyle.
Yeah.
We're just kind of easing like I said at the meeting yesterday, kind of easing ourselves into this like a warm bath.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the new style of journalism.
We feel our way through it. Not too much logic, just when we need it. Just logic when we need
exactly. This is what's happened since television came out, is that our brains, because we used to be all left brain, because of the print media environment. I noticed, Nahum, you, we'll get Nahum's camera going, but I noticed that you guys were talking about Marshall McLuhan on the video you did for the Indiegogo. We're just going to turn your mic on, and you're number 4, I believe. These are now numbered, so we don't have to test every time. That's Nahum. And we'll get your camera a little bit. you can tie that. This is what a working journalist has to do. They have to put their tie on while they're working.
Yes,
often.
It's very illogical.
There's a risk, like, do I put the white shirt on this morning, get caught in the rain? What do I do?
Oh, yeah. So that's why we're starting a little bit late. We're about half an hour late. Myself, I got up right on time, and then I looked outside, and it was a thunderstorm was just starting, and I thought, because if I ride my bike, it's 20 minutes to get here. If I take the TTC, it's 40 minutes. Right?
I noticed that I really should have just walked. I was probably 5 minutes later than I would have been if I just walked.
Really? Like, where do you live?
I live at, I live near the Distillery District.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's not a bad walk. Walk through, Dundas Square.
Yeah.
But I ended up taking the streetcar because it came out at the exact time that I had gotten my coffee from Red Line Coffee on Queen Street, which is a pretty groovy place. And then the streetcar was there, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. I'll just hop on. But then it's like, stop and go, stop and go, stop and go.
Yeah, it's
all the way along. Yeah.
I consistently can beat the streetcar on my bike. I don't even really bother anymore. Save time. Except this morning. It's thunderstorm.
So where do you live, Nahum?
I live in Midco, out Lakeshore Boulevard West.
Yeah. Like where? Near Islington?
Too
that far?
Specific, like...
Oh, you don't want to get too specific?
Be coming to my house.
Oh, yeah, because,
But near Royal York Road.
Do you know where JJ's is?
I do. and Club Cave.
That's right, the same type place.
Yeah. It's a really weird kind of eclectic neighborhood, JJ's and then Italian delis, European delis, and then like psychic shops in between constantly.
Yeah, I like that neighborhood down there. And it's near the lake.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know why, it always reminds me of California down there, even though I've never been to California.
Oh, I've never been either, so maybe I should go visit and get a taste. That's interesting.
I have been to California. I wouldn't drug.
Okay. Well, all right. So here we are.
Here we are. What's up today? there's some pretty cool things happening today.
Yeah, so let's get down to it. I don't know, where do you want to start, Veronica? I know you're on the Facebook there, and you letting people know that we're on the air and stuff like that.
We are definitely on the air, and there's I'm going to work backwards. At noon, there's a solidarity action. I think 361 University, which is a courthouse, and it's about the blockades that are going on at the Enbridge pump station just outside of Hamilton in Westover. So it's a tar sands issue, and we'll be able to talk to Secura today to get an update about the occupation that's happening, and it's been happening since Friday. A group of about 40 people went in and talked with the workers of the station, and were able to communicate how these tar sands are not helping anybody. Even though they have a job with the company, it's really destructive for everyone. So the workers left on their own accord to allow the occupation to happen.
Really?
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we'll talk to Secura. And there's some cool stuff happening in Toronto in solidarity today.
What's Secura?
Secura, she's an amazing activist.
Oh, somebody you know that's down there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, she's in Toronto right now, but she goes back and forth, and she's doing a lot of really good communicating between the group Rising Tides here in Toronto and the group that is at Westover doing the occupation at the pump station.
Okay. So we've got, it's 9:30. Oh, I'm getting a phone call.
Breaking.
This could be important.
Okay.
Let's find out who this is.
Let's
Hello,
do
that
it.
channel. That's me.
Dun 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 dun. Ba-da-dum bum bum.
Yes. Yeah. We might be running just a little bit late with her, but definitely on the show today. Okay. Great. Thanks. Bye. Okay, so that's actually confirmation of, and this kind of leading what I was going to say, somebody from World Vision is coming on Liquid Lunch today.
Amazing.
So that's Cheryl Hotchkiss is going to be coming on the show. And that's, so Liquid Lunch starts at noon today, as usual. And this show here, Naeem, are you gone now?
City Hall.
Okay, so
All right.
Naeem's on his way, Ty's on.
Might be Skype, might be phone call.
Okay, just remember our Skype name, thatradio.com, right?
That radio.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So Naeem's on his way to City Hall. We're going to try to do something with him a little bit later.
Yeah. It'll work perfectly.
Well,
however it works.
it'll work.
It
the way
will work.
It works, just like this is working.
Yeah. I like figuring it out.
Yeah. So anyway, so the Liquid Lunch at 12. So it's 9:39 now, and we've got till noon to do our stuff today.
Yeah.
So we're going to be, hopefully, Naeem is going to be interviewing Adam Vaughn.
That's right.
The
I'm
city
looking forward
councillor.
to that. Yeah.
And we're going to be, what are we going to call Secura? Talk about the gas plant
Yes.
occupation?
Yeah.
Okay.
We also have someone in relationship to the conversation that Naeem is having with Adam Vaughn about the Walmart in Kensington Market, the RioCan development. We have someone from Friends of Kensington Market, and they're also a BIA member and a resident of Kensington Market, Shamez. So we can talk to Shamez about what the real issue is with the RioCan development of Walmart, just on the Bathurst side of Kensington Market.
Yeah, I'm just trying to envision where that is going to go. What is it like, east or west side of Bathurst? Do we know that?
I believe it's on the east side of Bathurst, but
Yeah.
I actually haven't been to the location. It's like a 3-story building, and they would take over the whole building.
Oh, the building's already there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a renovation sort of project. Oh, and I'm getting a message from Secura right now.
Okay, why don't we play a song and we'll come right back.
Let's do it.
Okay. There goes Lamar.
Good DJ, yeah.
Just do a roof shot. While you're getting some tunes up.
I was dancing.
Huh?
I was dancing, and I was
Yeah.
reading my horoscope, and
I
it was
wanna read
perfect.
mine.
It was perfect for today. Here's the Metro.
Okay, what's yours?
Mine from 24 was like awesome because it says wait for clarity. I'm like, okay.
Wait, that's what mine said.
What? Are we the same?
I don't
I'm
know
a
what-
Pisces.
Oh, I'm a Virgo.
Okay. Well, Virgos are good. Virgos are patient, I think, eh? Waiting for clarity. Anyways, ask for help if you need it, which I feel is very appropriate for me today because this is like a new adventure.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely learning new skills leads to new friends. It's perfect.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, read mine now.
Okay, Virgo. There you are. There's a heavy workload.
Is that what it says?
It says what it says
I
today.
don't like that.
Watch for a change in plans. Check out a vacation destination. Take a cue from a more experienced friend. And put your heads together.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a whole bag of different stuff.
Every
right there.
horoscope is different, though. Okay, now I'm going to read mine from the Metro here.
Okay.
It says, you cannot neglect your responsibilities. That kind of goes the same with the heavy workload. There are certain things that need to be done, and it is your special duty to do them. In days, everyone will be singing your praises. Okay, do you want yours, man?
Yeah.
Yours is, make a point of doing something others would most likely not expect of you. It will remind the world not to take you for granted.
Ooh, oh, that does make me feel special. Okay. Okay, so I need to surprise.
Yeah.
Some surprises today.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was also actually a lot of, in these two, lovely dailies, there was a lot of gender issues and transgender stuff.
Really?
Yeah, there's a first grader won a court case, and this first grader is transgendered. And they won a court case about discrimination. And so that was right in the paper. I was really happy to see that. And then also Mayor Rob Ford at the raising of the pride flag. And
What did he do?
well, he actually went to the event
Did
this
he?
year instead of not going to the event. Still not going to the parade, but Kathleen Wynne will be there because she's a winner. She's
Okay.
a winner.
Who is?
I think Kathleen Wynne's a pretty good winner. She's pretty cool. I like her.
Okay.
I'm interested.
All right.
Rob Ford got his own video game out of the crack thing.
Did he? Okay. Now you should have a mic over there.
Well,
Get a mic. Lamar's here. Lamar's got input, but he should have a mic. So Lamar will get that mic ready, and then he said something about a video game and Rob.
I
Ford.
know. I'm really intrigued. Rob Ford is pretty hilarious.
Okay. Ariel can switch while we're doing this. Maybe she knows how to do that. Okay. So. Yeah, so here we are. We're easing into it. So let's see. It's about 12 minutes to 10, and we're looking forward to speaking with Nahum and Adam Vaughn at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Now, you heard from Sakura. What can we do in the meantime?
Well, the group that is occupying the pump station just got their injunction today. So there's a lot of action happening there. And she'll be able to fill us in on what that means for the duration of the occupation and if tactics needs to change.
So, in other words, the courts came and said, you guys got to get out of here?
Basically. Yeah.
Okay, so I just think, when are we going to talk to them?
Well, we could give her a call right now.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Yeah, we just bump it up a bit.
Well, let's call her on this phone.
Okay, perfect.
Right?
I'm just going to get the phone number.
Oh, okay. And you better not say it alive.
No.
You know how they always conceal that on TV, probably for good reasons. So, although, then I'm going to get. I've got some video of the Calgary floods.
Oh yeah, can we show that right now?
Yeah, I have to get it ready here. So.
Yeah, my parents live in Lethbridge, and.
Lethbridge is going to get hit, aren't they?
Well, they were sort of hit. They had hail the size of golf balls. My mom took some pictures, and other than that, there wasn't much destruction of property. There was a lot of flooding, but not too much destruction in Lethbridge. Although.
Oh, you mean it's? Is it? Have they seen the worst? Because that's downriver, I think, from Calgary.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if they've seen the worst. I can't foresee the future. Never know.
But I mean, because if they're downstream, that water's going to keep coming down. So I really can't believe it. I mean, I don't think they ever expected this kind of flooding in Calgary. I was there a couple years ago, walked along that river, which goes right through downtown Calgary, and I just thought, this isn't much of a river.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
they had a horrible flood in, I think it was 2005.
Yeah.
And then there was a commission that did a full report on actions that the government could take to prevent such horrible destruction of property. And the report wasn't released until July of last year. So July of last year on a Friday, they released this report. And since then, nothing has been done. The report, which people, taxpayers spend money on this commission to do a report, and then nothing was done. And so now it happened again, of course, because it's always going to happen again.
But this is way worse, isn't it?
I think so.
I don't even remember a flood story from Calgary before.
Oh, well, then it is way worse.
Yeah.
Especially in Calgary with, I think there's huge blocks of the city that are still completely evacuated.
Well,
how thick the cloud cover is.
Yeah, we have some, you got that? We're getting the video ready.
Yep, I have it ready.
Some aerial footage of Calgary. So if we can look at that now, we will, because I didn't even realize until I checked this out yesterday how bad the situation was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, I'll bring it up.
Awesome. And can I talk about the tailing ponds while we look at the video?
Yeah, why not keep our mics on while we look at the video?
Yeah.
All right, just give me a second.
Because the destruction of property is one thing, but the ecological outcome of these floods in northern Alberta, especially near Fort McMurray, where there recently was a pipeline spill, and also the tailing ponds. They're all up a little further north.
Well, I'm not sure this is going to affect it directly. I believe the Bow River, which is the one that goes through Calgary. Can we just try? I know you're doing a million things at once over there, Lamar, but if we can have the cameras
bring up the video right now.
follow the conversation.
How thick the cloud cover is, and how dense those clouds are,
There we
and
go.
dark.
So I don't know if
Just zoom in
we can
out
hear
here,
us.
and,
Yeah, we can
it's
hear
no
you.
different
We
on
can hear
the
us.
But
screen.
you're also hearing that,
Pauline
right?
from
From our
Video, yes.
perspective,
Okay,
it looks
so there
like,
we go.
much of downtown.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see it over there. I know
We're
you
Awesome.
seeing
see it.
traffic.
Oh,
Any
wow. I haven't
indication-
seen this
I
yet
would
at all.
hope those are
Really
emergency vehicles, but I doubt it.
really don't.
Where are these people finding a way through the city?
You know what? I think
Give me a minute.
So,
That's all water. It looks like sand, but it's water.
See, I always wanted this to happen in my hometown. Well, I just thought it would be cool to look out the front window and see fish swimming and that sort of thing.
You don't live in a basement, right?
But there you go. There's a saddle dome on the right-hand side, and apparently the water. Imagine going to Maple Leaf Gardens or the Sky Dome and having the water is up to the 10th row of seats.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bring your goggles.
So somebody was asking me, why would this happen? So basically, from this river, the Bow River, flows out of the Rocky Mountains. It flows through Calgary. It continues east through Lethbridge, and I believe it ends up flowing into It may actually flow into the U.S. and into the Mississippi River system. I could be wrong about that, and then it flows and gets into the South Saskatchewan and flows into Hudson's Bay. But the when you're talking about the tar sands, the oil sands, those end up into the Athabasca River system, which I think ends up flowing into the Mackenzie River and then into the Arctic Ocean at Inuvik. So it's a different watershed, I think. So it may not be affected by this. I think what this is, I believe, why it's so bad. It's the last of the melt from the winter.
Yeah.
So they must, and then they've been having a lot of rain over the last little while. Well, I think that's why it's so bad. I didn't realize Calgary was susceptible to this kind of thing. This is what they've been concerned about in Winnipeg.
For sure.
Which they built the floodway, the spillway around Winnipeg to prevent this kind of thing from happening. So I didn't even realize that this was possible in Calgary.
Supposedly they're still going to have the stampede, though. So, like.
Yeah, they said come hell or high water. So.
Well, they got the high water.
They did, and we'll see about the fire and brimstone. We'll see.
Yeah, well, that comes next year, I think.
Yeah, with the zombie apocalypse.
Right.
At least no one has to water the plants for a while.
Yeah. So I guess things are better. Things are going to clear up pretty quick, but I mean that's a lot of water damage in a lot of houses, and especially in the downtown core, of course, because that's where they built Calgary around the river.
Oh man, that's bad.
Yeah, we are attracted to water. It's a very good thing to be near water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the majority of humanity's population is near a large body of water.
That's why the Sasquatches exist.
Because they've been able to thrive.
Because they live in the mountains. See, we like to live near the water, the oceans, the rivers. We think we live everywhere. We don't really live everywhere.
Yeah, no.
We don't really live in the mountains or out in deep forests.
That's Sasquatch territory.
That's Sasquatch territory.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go.
We have Sky, who's almost ready to go at City Hall with Adam
You're
Vaughn.
in touch with all this. This is fantastic.
Yeah. He's asking, should I set the phone to the speaker or just hold the mouthpiece to the speaker?
Is he Skyping or phoning? He can't do video. Yeah. So then he should just use the phone. Just use the phone. Don't even use the Skype at all. So, yeah.
So you want to hear about the Rob Ford thing?
Well, do you have a mic?
Yeah, I have a mic on me. Can you guys hear me now?
So Lamar's got some info about Rob Ford while we get set up here.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
We need a camera on you, though.
Nah, not right now. But so you know how Gawker raised all that money with the crowdsource to get the video?
Yeah.
And the guy went to ground, so they can't really buy it. And they're hoping there's copies, but it's up in the air. They're gonna donate that money to rehabilitation on hardcore drugs and stuff like that. And they're asking Canadians what they want us to do with the money on their website. And supposedly someone decided they were gonna make a video, well, not a video, a little flash game, or it's supposedly on the Google Play Store. It's a Rob Ford video game. You probably find it if you.
Well, let's see if we can find it here. Right now.
It's on Gawker's website. If you go to Gawker's front page, it's on there.
I don't like Gawker because they lost the video.
Yeah.
Well,
it was just gone one day.
Well, when you think about it, you have something that's worth that much money, either you have to immediately give it up, get the money, disappear, or just disappear and never take the money. Because it's a high-risk situation, because you never know, someone could be coming after you as soon as you claim that cash. Let me think of something I guess.
Here's Rob Ford in Breaking Bad.
Oh, God.
Here, let's just play this just because. But we need audio, though.
All right. Right on our mics.
Mom! 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 Mommy! Mommy! Mommy!
You sure this guy is gonna show up, Randy?
I told you, Mr. Ford. Me and this guy are tight. Quit being a bitch.
Rude, Randy. And also strange that you call your own brother by his last name.
Sorry, Mr. Ford.
Look, Randy, you need to work on your discreetness. The mayor of Toronto can't have any loose lips revealing info on his new crack industry. Crack Daddy here.
Mr. Ford, your drug lord cards are here. You want a Crack Daddy printed adjacent to Rob Ford, right? Right, bud?
Underneath, Jason. Let's just switch card companies. Crack Daddy, out! Now, where was I? Oh, discreet, Randy.
So you come in here after I stole your crack and beat up your brother Randy, and you bring me more crack? Pretty dumb plan, even for the bumbling mayor of Toronto.
1, shut up. And 2, this is not crack. That's clumpy sugar from my house. Good luck vacuuming all of that out.
Not on the carpet! Come on, man, I have dogs!
It could be worse.
For the love of God, stop! That's a tremendous waste of sugar.
You think I don't know that? I can assure you, our crack is the purest.
It's crack. I'll be happy if you haven't peed in it. Just bring it over to my warehouse. Rob, there's no easy way to tell you this, but we're letting you go.
Great. You start one crack empire and they,
What did you say?
Goddamn T-Rex arms!
Wasn't up, you two. It's time to learn about money laundering.
Why would I launder like a bitch when I could just hide it in my baggy pants?
Yeah, let's listen to the guy who kidnapped the dealer and went to jail. All right, we're beginning now. All right, it's been an hour, and so far only half of you understand the concept of taxation.
Taxes are bad.
How about this? Just don't get high on your own supply.
You're joking, right? About that last one, like that thing you said was a joke, so don't take it seriously. I think he's joking, Randy. Give me some of that crap.
Thanks for taking out those dealers for me.
They were dealers? Thank God. Let's just say I may have overestimated my reading and driving skills.
All right, what's with the dent in the back?
Cyclists and, well, you know. Just get in the car, Randy. Keep it up, Randy. One day I'll consider you my crack, son.
Give me some of that crack.
Almost got it, Randy.
Ha ha ha! T-Rex!
Give me some of that crap. Give me some of that crap.
Do you want to anchor for a minute? Can we, let's do that. Who made that? You can sit here and just do that. All right, okay, are we back?
Yeah.
So this is live, huh? Okay. Ariel's joining us.
Yay!
Right, Ariel? See Ariel.
Hi.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Where are you?
Very good.
We're excited.
Oh, there you are. Good.
Yay.
Okay. All right, so are we ready to engage with Nahum?
I think so.
Mr. Sky?
I told him to call. And so we're waiting for the
hasn't
phone to
called
ring. No, it's 10 o'clock exactly, so it's about this time.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for that call.
Yeah, I think he's concerned to whether he's going to put the phone on speaker but I just told him to call and we'd figure it out and make
You
it
should
work.
probably put on speaker.
Okay.
Yeah, put on speaker so they can hear us at their end.
Okay.
Yeah, and tell them we're ready for them.
All right.
So, and then we're going to figure out how to get some bagels.
Cool. You know what I just saw actually pop up? That Rob Ford story. That video was pretty fun. And apparently CBC just reported that Rob Ford's friend Dave, who is now working for the mayor's office, has actually been a very good friend and has been a regular call-in person to his radio show. And look at that. And there is the phone call from City Hall. Let's see.
Hit the button.
Blue button.
Oh, this button right here. Okay, so hi, that channel. You are on the air.
Hey, I'm just doing a test call here. I'm just at City Hall waiting for Mr. Vaughn to show up.
Oh, okay, good. So we are.
It sounds good.
We are good to go.
Sounds good. I should just leave it like this then and not put it on speaker, I imagine.
Except then they may not. If you're just doing it by phone, he may not hear us talk.
Gotcha.
Why don't you try it on speaker right now?
Let's do a quick speakerphone test.
Yeah, do a test. Do a test right now, and we've got 3 people here at the table, and we're just gonna tell us if you can hear all 3 of us.
Okay, I'm on speaker now, and how does it sound?
It sounds perfect. No difference from before. And Ariel's here. She's gonna. Can you hear Ariel?
Hear me?
Sorry, go ahead.
Everything's good?
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
Can you hear Ariel, Nam?
Very, very vaguely.
All right, I'll just have to speak up a little louder.
Speak up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little better now.
All right.
Yeah, so he's just here. Okay, and how about you?
I'm closer to the phone, so it's a little bit easier probably.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how it works. Is like basically just air. So yeah, so we're good to go, Nam, whenever you're ready.
Okay, excellent. I'll give you a call back then.
Okay.
Okie dokie. So yeah, there we go, calling in.
Yeah, so that's working. And just so the way it works, like your mic doesn't affect what he hears.
Okay.
He's just hearing you from your voice to the phone.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So the mic is just going through the system.
So I'll project like this.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
With your third eye. Project with your third eye. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds good. I do I trained as an actor, so I've learned all about projection and articulation, and I'm not really using a lot of my techniques today. I should have done a proper warm up.
Really?
Yeah.
I should have done one with you.
Yeah. Oh, maybe next time we can open. Yeah. Oh, think of a watermelon. Oh, it's like big like a watermelon, and it opens up that throat, and then all of a sudden you're breathing from your diaphragm, and it's just kind of clear and open and juicy like a watermelon.
I'll try to think of that while I'm talking, so I can project my voice. How's that?
Already sounds better.
Deeper. It's better.
Sounds better. The more you do it, the more your voice. You know how those radio guys have a voice like that?
They have that voice. Yeah.
It just comes from talking a lot. Mm-hmm. I think it's really from. I think I have it a little bit.
They love to hear their own voice. That's a thing. Because I was talking. Yeah, I was watching.
Is your mic on?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, okay, it's good. Okay.
Okay, so I just got a report from Sky at City Hall. It's going to be about 15 minutes.
All right.
So we could give Secura a call and just talk about that occupation that's happening at the pump station with Enbridge. If you'd like to do that right now, we can do that right now.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we're going to get bagels, I actually have to go.
Oh, okay.
Now, you guys could do it.
Yes, we can.
Right? And Ariel, if you wanted to get in this chair or whatever, you could do that
sounds
and
good.
talk to Secura while I go get bagels. Does that work?
I love bagels, so I'm definitely in for that.
We have to get something.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Fuel
I'll
up.
do that then, and then you guys. So basically, just hit the blue button, and then dial the number.
Awesome.
And don't dial a 9. Right?
Don't dial the 9.
Yeah.
Is
you
it
just dial the number.
possible to
To what?
I just want to get a little updated on this phone call.
Okay, you guys do that. I'm gonna go get some bagels.
Okay, journey on, friend. The bagels.
Okay, great.
I do love Montreal bagels the best, if that's possible. Okay, we'll see.
I'm gonna switch chairs.
Awesome. And you look very good. I love the outfit.
Thanks very much.
It's gorgeous. And this is the new friend that I'm meeting in doing this, new adventure.
Exactly, and I'm so glad this is my own adventure as well, so
yeah,
really excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're in journalism school,
I am
aren't
in
you?
journalism, 3rd year. It's a 4-year program. I'm almost done. So sometimes I come in here, do a little interning, and last week we worked on a little segment for this show, so that'll be showing later on. Asked a few streeters about how they feel about the Walmart opening up in Kensington. So that'll be a good little piece there.
Yeah, let's just keep talking about that, because I feel that we'll probably get to reach Sky in about 10 minutes or so.
Okay, perfect.
Apparently Adam Vaughn's car broke down this morning.
Oh.
Yeah, lots of
stuff's going on.
Yeah, I feel it. But there's definitely a good momentum happening in Kensington Market. It's always been a pretty active community.
Yeah.
Lots of people who care about neighborly connections.
It's definitely that way. I was there last week, and very friendly. Everyone, once you just go into Kensington, people just want to talk to you. It's very welcoming and warming. So shops are great as well.
Yeah, and I really like seeing the new shops pop up and how they're they work with the older shops, and it is quite the community. So did you find that people were aware of the issue with Walmart coming in?
Well, I didn't interview anyone at Kensington, but I did down here, and I found that not a lot of people are aware of it, but the people that I did talk to said that a lot of changes could happen with having a Walmart there, because they've seen it in other smaller local areas where a Walmart will just come in, and a lot of businesses have to close because they just can't compete.
Yeah, especially in smaller communities outside of the big central cities. It kind of becomes this whole revitalization.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden a whole area of town draws in all the crowds, and then that downtown of the small town, it loses its customers. All of a sudden people don't want to buy shoes from the independent shoe store. They go get them a little bit cheaper up the way.
That's true.
And then that downtown has lost its character, it's lost its vitality, it's lost its action.
I feel like, I don't know, the community there, I feel like they're strong. So they may be able to just jump over this hurdle, because there's so many stores there, and Chinatown's right there. I feel like people that shop at those places every day, they may not give in right away. So I'm hoping that's what will happen, that they're so used to buying their groceries at a certain place that just because the Walmart's opening up, they're not all of a sudden going to switch and start buying their groceries there. So
yeah, because it is a really strong community with, and what I've been reading is that it's not really an economic issue. For the most part, it's more of a moral issue with regards to the corporatized sort of presence versus the local independent, more public interaction. And because even Ed Mervish, who's just up the street and would technically be like the biggest competition, he's like, bring it on. I've been doing this before Walmart started, and I will continue long after.
Not scared at all.
Not scared at all, no. And I can recognize that there's, in this capitalist culture, competition is valued, and it adds a little bit of fire for him to kind of maybe experiment and do some new things, and who knows what might come out of that pressure of competition. But at the same time, like that moral sort of stance of Walmart not being a very what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a corporate night in the sense of like leading the way in being concerned about human rights and standing up for community and positive energy, if you will. You know, like a lot of the stuff that they sell comes from places that are underserved in the way of human rights and equality. And so how do you negotiate that moral aspect of it? Because if Ed Mirvish isn't worried about losing money, then Kensington Market being so strong and having such a strong community of people who really stand up and live their values, then it is serving a different part of the population in that area. I know there's a lot of new immigrants in the area, and there's a lot of younger families who are definitely always looking for ways to save money.
For sure.
But is Walmart the best way to save money, especially with their human rights records? But I won't get into that. I think
it's a big circle that just keeps going round. Somewhere it has to stop, and it's hard because either way, on each side of the table, you know, there's people that need jobs in other countries, and then we take advantage of that, buying cheaper things. But on the side note of Kensington Market, I think a lot of people from other areas will go to Kensington Market. So we're looking at local people being affected by Walmart. But I believe the traffic of people going into Kensington Market won't go away. So hopefully that will keep the local businesses open and that feel that everyone wants to keep that area the same. They don't want things to change. Like, I love going down there, and I'm going to keep going down there.
Yeah, me too. So. I love it. It's got its own sort of vortex going on, isn't it?
Yeah, just even the buildings and everything you walk through there, you feel like you're completely somewhere else.
I love it, yeah. I really want their car-free Sundays to expand to every day.
That would be awesome.
It would be awesome. Just cars, stay away, get on your feet, feel the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it is beautiful. And there's also a discussion about the redevelopment of Bellevue Square Park, and it's interesting. That community really comes together to discuss and engage about the evolution of the community, whereas you see other neighborhoods in Toronto and developers can just sort of do their obligatory community information meeting. Maybe a dozen senior citizens come out because they're the only ones that are paying attention. Right. They have the time to pay attention.
Exactly.
And then they move forward on the development without actually communicating with the residents. And whereas with Kensington Market, there's this great infrastructure, this great network of communication. The first community meeting for the RioCan Walmart development brought out hundreds of people, and they actually had to turn away about 200 people that night. So they scheduled another meeting, which rarely ever happens, right? Usually they do the one obligatory and then they go on with their show, but they had to reschedule another one.
Were you able to attend? Did you go?
I wasn't. I was actually down the street, and I was helping people find it.
Nice.
But I was doing some acting stuff that was really cool, and I was hearing about it at the same time. But I'm hoping to get to the one that's going to be hosted at City Hall. It's on July 9th.
July 9th. So anyone listening can go see that.
Yeah.
Go to the meeting.
Yeah, in the evening on July 9th. And it'll be full of information on both sides. They'll be discussing. And in the end, City Council doesn't actually have much say. It's the Municipal Board of Ontario. And I'm just learning about the Municipal Board of Ontario. Apparently, they oversee all city planning throughout the province. And that's probably why a lot of the suburbs look the same, because it's the same board kind of overseeing it all and approving it.
That would make sense.
Yeah. And that brings me right back to that sort of something special in Kensington, where it's, it's not a planner dictating how things will be set up. It's really the community growing organically and allowing for new surprises and experimenting in the creation of a community, of a neighborhood. It's pretty cool.
So that's great. We do have a say in this, so anyone that wants more information, definitely go down and check out that meeting, because I think knowledge is so important to know exactly where you stand, or how you feel about a situation. You need the information. We need to talk about it so that everyone can see just what we're getting out of whatever comes next. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if we're not engaging, then we're losing out, really, on expressing ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we can express ourselves in so many different ways in our neighborhoods, and then, ripple out into this great, huge country of ours, and North America and the world. And yeah, the expression of self, though, it starts with just the people around you, and yeah, Kensington's really good at that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Walmart will destroy it, but it's definitely an interesting conversation about corporate versus public. Yeah, the private corporation body versus the public individual grouping. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm sure a sociologist would have the right words. Not me.
It'll be hard on. I'm not sure if there's a lack of jobs in that area, because that will definitely traffic individuals for job opportunities. So even though people may be against it, they need to put food on the table, such like that. So there's all sorts of aspects that you can look at this corporation coming in. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. What will we do for a job?
It's true, unfortunately. Yeah. But that's just, sometimes you say, oh, I gotta take this job just for a little bit, just to get back on my feet, and then you end up there a little bit longer, and you realize, I do not agree with this agency or with this corporation. So it all depends on, again, we go back to knowledge, people having knowledge about Walmart and Kensington Market, and if you don't agree with it, if you're willing to stick it out and find a better job opportunity where you don't have to feel guilty where you're working.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I hear about people kind of going through that transition where they're doing work with a company, company X, and they recognize that their policies aren't in line with their own, their heart and their values. And then they go through this transformation where they start to grow into a different position with company Y over there that is aligned with their values, and it can be very empowering for individuals to take that step. And sometimes it's a little bit frightening because you don't know what will happen in that transition. But I don't know, my mom always said, find a job first before you quit the last one.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever actually taken that advice, but yeah, I've been working on a lot of contracts and stuff, so it's sort of, I've had lulls here and there, but it is really good advice, and everyone can make that transition. And the more hearts that are pulled into living out their values in their work, then the more responsible corporations will end up having, and that's pretty cool. So I wonder if, because Walmart employees, they're just doing their thing and making it happen, and yeah.
Some employees understand exactly what's going on, and others are, young and they don't really know exactly what what's going on in the corporate world, how it works. Mm-hmm. So definitely looking into that information is key to anywhere that you're working, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any websites or specific areas that we could find information about?
I know there are various documentaries, maybe not just on Walmart, but just the corporate entity of how usually these things work, where we're getting our basic needs from other countries and such. I'll have to look it up, and I'll definitely get back to you. But I have watched a few really, really good documentaries, even on food, the food industry.
The Food Inc.
Yes.
One? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. If you weren't scared before.
Yes.
I watched it 3 times.
3 times?
Yes, 3 times.
3 times. And I think it is one of those ones that you can watch again and again to really digest.
There's
that information.
So much information inside that you do have to watch it again just to get all the information they're trying to tell you, because there's so much in there. The first time you watch it, it's a shock.
Yeah.
And then the second time, it's like, okay, I'm absorbing this. And the third time, it's like, okay, what do I do to change this?
Yeah, what choices can I make?
Exactly.
Just in my everyday sort of shopping and eating.
It really does. It makes you feel better. It helps to stop. Well, just on food, the less processing food and stuff like that, and even the food just tastes so much better when you it actually tastes better when it's local foods. To me, I can taste the difference.
Oh, for sure.
When I know, this chicken, oh my goodness, Bob down the street with his farm, he's doing an excellent job feeding his chickens properly.
Yeah. Yeah, I live near St. Lawrence Market, so I'll go there on Saturday and meet the farmers and get the fresh stuff, and I can eat those peppers, those bell peppers that I get. I can eat like an apple.
Yeah.
Because they're so crunchy and juicy and just so flavorful. Whereas the stuff that I get from No Frills or whatever from Mexico I have to cook them. They can't. Yeah. It's not the same.
Because it's I grow my own vegetables in my backyard.
Cool.
And it's a completely different experience. But when you buy something and then you have something you've grown and you hold in your hand, you hold a tomato that you buy from No Frills or any convenience big box store or something, and you hold a tomato that you've grown naturally. One is larger than the other, and it feels unnatural. A large, massive tomato that you can buy from No Frills versus an actual grown tomato that's been naturally grown is they're not palpable. They're firm, extremely firm for long periods of time, because they're trying to make it so said food lasts longer on the shelf, so they can sell more of it, and then all that horrible. They're just trying to. At the end of the day, it's still a business. So they're just trying to make money.
Yeah.
So you got to always look at that.
Yeah, that brings us right into the GMO stuff too, and it is, at the end of the day, they have one bottom line, and it's full of numbers.
Oh,
right.
Definitely.
It's all about the numbers.
How can we distribute this to the maximum amount of people to get this much, the maximum gross?
Yeah, and they're obligated to continue growing. They can't just be sustaining. They're obligated to continue growing. Otherwise, the board of directors will be like, "Oh, sorry, CEO, you're out. You don't have a job anymore. You stopped the growth. We need growth. we need someone new. So that guy gets fired and has to go somewhere else, and they bring in someone with new ideas about how to market it or how to do new processing or where to cut costs, and then all of a sudden you start to grow again.
There will always be that guy, you know, even after when he's either done with it or they fire him, there'll always be a new person to be like, oh, I've got ideas, I want to make the big bucks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it really is sacrificing some things, such as people who actually work on the front lines of the company, whether it be, because Walmart is going to be selling these foods that are over processed and genetically modified and travel from halfway across the world. That's the kind of food that Walmart's going to sell or is selling, and they're just playing their cards so that they can have that big bottom line and continue to grow it. And it's definitely something that doesn't fall in line with the idea of sustainability, because it's like that tomato, that enormous tomato. You could look at it in the way like an oversized heart. There's a lot of problems that come about when someone has an enlarged heart. And if we want to actually be sustainable, that heart needs to be just the size, right for just that body, and naturally kind of do its processes.
And all that chemicals that we, are in the food, we are eating it, and it does affect us. Mm-hmm. So, again, with the heart, it's, you're putting all these things in your body, and they are staying there, and long term. I don't know what kind of exactly what's the genetics inside that tomato, but it's definitely a toll on your body.
Yeah, I think we'll do a whole show about the GMO thing.
We should.
Monsanto.
I need to rewatch that documentary, and definitely get those key points in there. And
there's another documentary that's like corporatized, and it's got on the cover, it's got the guy with the bowler hat in a silhouette. I can't remember the name right now.
And there's a couple really on Walmart. There's one where they're outsourcing, and like there are a whole bunch of jobs that were lost in like the Midwest because of them putting all their factories in China and all that stuff. I know about that. I think I know what you're talking about. It's just that I don't remember. I can't put a name to the description right now. But
yeah,
I'll get back to you on that.
Awesome, because they really they identify the problem of the corporate body being legally identified as an individual, like as we have rights, that corporation has rights just like a personhood, right? And it really gets to the heart of the matter of the legal situation with which we're faced when individuals in a community are facing the corporate body and all the power that they are given by the state.
They have so much power, even more than
us.
Yeah, and more than us.
So much pull in like the government and stuff.
I feel like they're higher than the government.
Oh, I totally agree. They're
definitely higher.
Like, in the situation in the U.S., like I'm gonna use the gun lobbyists as like a big example. Since they've been around for such a long period of time, they've grown so much that it's like a massive weed underneath a rose, and if you were to try and pull the weed out, you end up killing the rose. So you can't necessarily like get rid of the gun lobbyists because they're fueling the country. So in the situation of like getting rid of a massive corporation, you can't necessarily just like Walmart is always going to be Walmart.
And I think now we have a phone call, or was that just Hugh's cell phone as he walks in without any bagels?
Yeah, where are the bagels?
I'm wondering where my bagel is.
Where are the bagels?
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't have an ETA from Sky, so I think what we'll do is just divert to calling Secura and talking about this Enbridge occupation of a pump station just outside of Hamilton. It's Westover, and they've been there since Friday, and they brought all sorts of documentation. About 40 people brought documentation and had a conversation with the workers there, and were able to talk to them about how this corporation, Enbridge, even though they're employees of it, in the end, this whole project that they're doing is not benefiting any of us. And so the employees graciously walked off the job, and there's been about 3 employees there as security, and they've just been quiet and calm and just making sure that, they're represented still, they're present. But yeah, they've been there since Friday or Thursday, and Secura will be able to tell us more about what's going on right now with the injunction that was just served. And
okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So I'm back, and I hear. So we are working on bagel-like replacement products.
Okay.
We have a camera on Lamar now too, so we can see Lamar when he's talking. There he is.
Hello.
And whose coffee is that, Ariel? Is that yours or mine? Where's yours?
Touch it. I finished mine actually.
Oh, see, I need to drink more coffee.
You know what? Yeah, I'll.
Do you want me to get you some?
No, half cup is good. Should be good.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe when the food.
Arrives.
Surprise food
I understand.
comes.
Yes.
I'll have some more.
Okay.
Okay, I think I put in all the numbers correctly.
Mm-hmm.
There it goes.
Should I lower that or?
No, that's
good sound.
Well, we're about to find out.
Hello.
Hello, Secura. It's Veronica. You're live on that channel. How are you?
Hello, Veronica. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad that we could work this out this morning. I was just talking about basically what happened on, I think it was Friday, and the conversation that you had with the workers there. And
it was actually Thursday morning at 6 in the morning.
Awesome. So even longer, Thursday morning. So tell us about the reaction of the workers who were there present.
Well, I can only speak to the reaction of the workers that I spoke to, but the first person I handed a flyer to was like, "Why didn't you come earlier? I just got off my shift." So, the mood was good. We went in there not trying to intimidate, but just trying to be confident in basically the righteousness of what we were doing. The 90% of spills happen within, maybe a mile of the terminal. They happen very close to the terminal. And where the Westover terminal is in a swampland and the headwaters of Hamilton's, most important watershed. So, and the thing about a wetland is that if there was a spill, because it's all connected by water, and the water is actually fairly shallow, it's up towards the ground, a spill would spread very quickly.
And that's really sensitive ecological area. Swamplands, bogs. There's lots of really important amphibians and plants that you can't find anywhere else. So that's
Definitely.
a really sensitive area.
So can I just, hi Secura, this is Hugh here. So you guys, if you could just tell us the story of what happened. You guys went down to a, what is it, Enbridge?
It's a pump station.
Nothing. It was for my friend. It was a pumping station, and basically what happened was, we went in at 6 in the morning and handed flyers to all the workers, telling them that this was an occupation, that they should leave, that we had nothing against them, we weren't going to destroy any equipment or vandalize anything, that our only intention was to stop the construction because we were against this project. And the project's only been partially approved. It's only been approved from Sarnia to Hamilton, but not from Hamilton to Montreal. And so they shouldn't do work on the pipeline as if it was already approved. We don't think that we haven't had the results of the studies yet, the integrity digs. There's a lot of unanswered questions from Enbridge, and we're putting our foot down, and this is a perfect example of when something that is legal is wrong, technically, and something that is illegal is the right thing to do, which is occupying the station. And just this morning, they got an injunction, meaning that for everyone that's staying past this point, there's going to be much harsher consequences. And so there's solidarity rallies around the country today, including in Toronto, Guelph, Hamilton, and at the site, there's also a solidarity rally. And then people who are willing to risk arrest have locked down to fences and equipment at the site. And and also, we've had a large Six Nations presence to assert the fact that on many levels, this is actually an illegal, construction site because of the complete lack of consultation and consent that they've received from First Nations communities along the route. So,
what is the I guess the expected process of consultation? If it hasn't happened, why would they why wouldn't they do the proper process of consultation?
Well, they don't want to do the proper process because they want to rush through this project, and that's seen throughout the NEB process. So, for example, they are deliberately trying to keep public participation out of this process. In order to write a letter to the NEB saying that you oppose or approve of the pipeline, you had to fill out a 9-page application. Make multiple copies of that application, send it to, all the interveners. It was a very big process, just to get a letter in. And so we can see them deliberately trying to keep the public out. And you only got given 2 weeks to fill out that application. So it was a laughable process, but unfortunately, it's not a victimless process. And so there is going to be, only less than 200 commenters and interveners total in this entire process. That's going to impact millions of people.
So you're saying you have to be approved in order to actually comment and engage on this issue? Like you have to print 100 pages and mail it to all these different what are they? Who would I mail these to? They're like.
Well, we had to. It was a 9-page application, and we had to send a letter into the NEB, and then we had to print a copy and mail it into the NEB, and print a copy and mail it to Enbridge, as well as a receipt that we had electronically, put in our application as well. I mean, it was just an extremely cumbersome process with the purpose, I believe, of really discouraging people from engaging in the process. It was confusing. You were only given 2 weeks to figure out the entire process and complete the applications. It's, like I said, very, very laughable. It's part of the omnibus bill. These are changes that Harper made. And another change that Harper made in the omnibus bills was not requiring an environmental impact assessment. And that, on the surface, is ridiculous. We have a company, Enbridge, that's proven themselves completely irresponsible. Hundreds of their pumping stations don't fulfill the minimal safety requirements. And at the same time, the Kalamazoo spill was completely botched. And so, a reasonable person would say, well, Enbridge should be on a probation period right now, right?
Yeah.
We should congratulate them for the moves they've made to make things safer, but we shouldn't take them at their word yet. But we're not even having an environmental impact assessment. It's not required for this project because of the changes that Harper made in the omnibus budget bills. So, this is a process where I think it's completely justified to stand up and physically block this construction from happening. I think that more people should be standing with us to highlight both the absurd process, to highlight the dangers inherent in Line 9, and of course to highlight the fact that this is allowing for the expansion of the tar sands project, which is creating a sacrifice zone the size of many countries. The reason it's allowed to happen is because it's disproportionately impacting Native people, and it's a continuation of the assimilation process and of the genocide against Indigenous people in this territory, in Turtle Island. And we can't let it we have to have learned our lessons from the residential schools process and the genocide of the original peoples here, and be working actively to reverse the processes of colonization. And instead, through this industrial development, through the lack of consultation and consent with the pipelines, through the absolute destruction and expanding sacrifice zones of the tar sands giga project, we are only continuing the genocidal process and completely destroying huge swaths of land, destroying animal habitat. We have to start transitioning out of the tar sands and start reversing these processes. We can't expand. Expanding is completely the wrong direction to take it in.
Sakura, a couple quick questions here. So you mentioned that this is tied into the tar sands, but you also mentioned that, I'm not too familiar with this. Is this a natural gas pipeline?
What it is right now is it is a pipeline that used to carry light crude from Montreal to Sarnia. What they want to do is they want to reverse it so the flow will go from Sarnia to Montreal, and then they want to get it approved for what Enbridge says is any sort of crude that their customers might want. Of course, we know that this is for tar sands. This is for dilbit, which is diluted bitumen, which is not like crude. It's much more dangerous. It is much more dangerous for the waterways, and it's much more dangerous for people's health. And because of the corrosive and the texture of the substance of dilbit, it's more likely to cause a rupture or spill.
Okay, so Sakura, so my question is, do they then have to extend the pipeline from Sarnia to Fort McMurray? Because that's a very long, that's a long way.
The pipeline is an existing pipeline, so what they're doing is they're reversing it. But the thing is that right now Montreal does not have the refining capacity to process this bitumen that they want to put through. And so what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to extend it in another pipeline to the East Coast so that it can go to other markets.
So what's the next step in stopping this exactly, or what's the next step for you guys to try to stop this plan exactly?
Well, right now we're doing solidarity actions with Hamilton. We're supporting them and trying to have this occupation last for as long as possible. Every day, we are stopping construction. They had just entered 24-hour shifts, but of course, what we need to do is we need to tell our friends and neighbors about this. We need to get more public support for this. And of course, we need to do more direct action to stop this pipeline from, being reversed. And there is construction that needs to be done in order to complete the reversal process. And so these are really great points of intervention. And so what we need to do is we need to both build public support for direct action and against the pipeline, and we need to be supporting direct action where it happens. A lot of these times, we won't know about the direct actions that happen, much like what happened with Hamilton, until after the occupations have already happened. So just be ready to support these actions, and definitely spread the word, and let everyone know that you support this from happening.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Sakura. I really appreciate the conversation today. And
you know what we should do? If there's a website or an email address or something online where people can take action right now with this, yes, Sakura, maybe you can give that info.
Hashtag SwampLine9 on Twitter, swampline9.tumblr.com, and that's Tumblr without an E. Those are the two areas that you can find information about this action. Also, Rising Tide Toronto has a Facebook group where we're constantly updating with information about how to stop this project, about things happening specifically within Toronto. There's a lot of different websites about everything that's happening.
Okay, so that's Rising Tide Toronto on Facebook, and that's hashtag SwampLine9.
.tumblr.com.
Or .com.
Okay,
Tumblr.com.
Fantastic.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sakura. I'm looking forward to hearing what goes on today with the injunction just served, and we're looking forward to also letting more people know about this really, really important issue that if we don't get activated about, it is going to hurt us in the end. So here we go.
I mean, definitely we need to work to protect our environment now. Enbridge doesn't care. They're sloppy. And who's going to pay that price? It's going to be the people along the route.
That's right. Thank you, Sakura.
Okay, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Isn't it possible to get that website up maybe a little later on a recap?
Yeah, Sky's waiting for the okay go for the call from City Hall.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'll bring some bagel substitutes over to the table.
Oh, you know what? I just got another one. I think because of Adam's close call with the car breaking down, we're going to close the show with the interview at 11:45.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
This is great, just figuring it out. We're like, I don't know.
Okay, what agenda items did we talk about that we haven't done yet today?
We have not gotten into zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
I think bagels and zombie apocalypse is a perfect combination. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll get the bagels.
And right before
bagel substitutes.
Sky's interview, we could put up my little...
Yeah, is it ready? Is it finished?
It's ready. It's
Rendered?
short, so we can hold off on it.
I'll tell you what, because I have to get that ready.
Okay.
So maybe... Okay, so what you and I should probably do is go over to that computer and just get it ready to air. And Veronica, maybe you can get us all started with a little report on the zombie apocalypse that our federal government is doing their best to ignore.
Oh, for sure. For sure. They are completely ignoring it. And what's interesting is that they're not ignoring it in Texas. Apparently there is a camp you can go to learn about survival through the zombie apocalypse. Have you heard about?
I'm not aware of this. Every television station always has some sort of zombie episode, but I am not aware of the zombie apocalypse.
I feel like you're right. You see a lot of zombies on TV, a lot of zombies on the movies, and it's almost like a subliminal preparation, right? A lot of revolution shows and the end of the world coming, and there's
How to Survive.
Yeah, it's almost subliminal messaging that, it is coming. It is coming. Be prepared.
So is it actually possible that...
Well, I will tell you all about the story that I read yesterday. In Texas, I think one was in Houston and the other was nearby. There's a gentleman who was with his friends, and they were smoking the synthetic weed that is now legal and available. And apparently he smoked this stuff and he went crazy. He started acting like a dog. I think he took off all his clothes and he was running around on all fours and hooting and hollering and nipping at people. So his friends decided to lock him out of the house. So they locked him in the backyard, just like a dog would be locked out in the backyard if he was misbehaving. A lot of people just go, go outside, go crazy out there, go deal with that. So they did that. And the guy who was in the backyard, he ended up encountering his friend's little terrier dog. He beat the dog to death and then ate most of the dog, fur and all.
Wait, where was this?
This sounds like Bath Salts Part 2.
It does sound like Bath Salts Part 2. So right now we're saying this is the zombie apocalypse. There's certain drugs, there's certain influential substances that are now being introduced to our culture, and it is it's flipping a switch in the brain. And so he was arrested, but the police would not comment on what charges would be laid. It took that long for police to get there that he could actually almost finish the dog. But Ravel back there laughing. It's a little terrier, it's not a big dog, but still.
Wow.
The second story, same exact weekend. This all happened over the solstice. It was a woman, and there's no picture of her. There's actually a picture of the guy. If you Google zombie apocalypse, synthetic weed, Texas, you'll find the story on a few different sources, and there's a picture of the guy. But there was another woman who, also in Texas, she has been smoking this synthetic weed apparently for a little while, and her husband really doesn't like how she goes crazy on it. So he decided to leave the house, and so she smoked it, and she ended up going crazy. Something switched in her brain, and she has an 18-month-old baby, or she had an 18-month-old baby. The report says that she killed the baby and ate the brains. So that is zombie right there. If you weren't sure about like the whole dog incident, like, oh well, it's a dog, and the cops again would not report on charges that would be laid. They just couldn't.
So
they couldn't.
These incidences happened in Texas.
Waco, Texas is the one where the guy at the dog. Supposedly, what they were smoking is called spice.
Spice.
So whoever is, making the stuff, whatever's in it is switching the brain to
zombie,
unimaginable things. If people can actually do that.
Well, it reminded me.
Was there anything how they felt after?
No, I can't imagine how they'll get access to hear about those people's personal experiences from themselves. I'm sure someone who's really like on top of the zombie apocalypse will be able to get in there.
Veronica.
Yeah.
What do you think is going on with the zombie apocalypse? Like, is it something real? Is it just a meme that's catching on? Is it?
Well, I had a friend a few years ago who was a practicing pagan for most of his life. And at this time, he was recognizing in himself that he had to get back into some of his rituals and practice because of how the world was changing. And the energy of the world needed his support in actually participating in some rituals and some healing. And he told me, he said, as soon as you hear about cannibalism, get out of the cities. And I said, why? What does that mean? I don't understand. And he was like, the zombie apocalypse is real. So since then, I don't have any proof, but I definitely have felt this sense of there's a certain, opportunity in this world for manipulation through substances and the cultural atmosphere of disassociation from other people, the separateness. The idea that we're not all one, that we're not all one big family is really prevalent. And I definitely feel that there are certain manipulative energies that will use that against us in the end, because the idea of population control is pretty acceptable, and zombie apocalypse is just another way of population control, I guess.
Where did this start, the zombie apocalypse? Because
I don't know, maybe Hugh might know where it started.
How long have you heard of zombie apocalypse, like, ever?
Decades.
Really, I just heard about it
recently.
Actually, there was a clip.
This fascination with zombies is everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm just, of course, now it's just, is this real? Could this really happen? Now that there are cases with people taking a substance where they can go crazy and physically eat, a human or a dog. That's what we've been talking about. I don't know. on.
Well, it reminds me of, in ancient civilizations, there was often sacrifices of humans, whether it be babies or a lot of young women, especially. Sometimes, like, the best warrior would be sacrificed. And through time, we evolve in our understanding of love and in our understanding of what it is to be human and what this really is as a family. And so now it's not really acceptable to sacrifice humans, although that's still going on in parts of the world. It's not as accepted. But this zombie apocalypse is kind of bringing back that.
So we're relapsing back to
the sacrificing of a whole group of people in order for a small elite group to
survive,
use all the resources.
That's
scary stuff.
Back to the resources issue, right? And the colonization that Sakura brought up, and how we are a British colony and we are resource rich, and especially with the tar sands, there's this lack of compassion for the people of this nation, the people that live on this land, the first peoples of this land, and just wiping them out in order to get to the resources. So yeah, I think zombie apocalypse is the same as colonization.
There you go.
I don't know. We'll report more on it as news trickles in.
This will have to be a follow-up for sure, because I'm going to do some research and I want to hear more about what's happening.
Yeah. This synthetic weed is really frightening. It's manufactured and processed, and it's not natural, and there's a lot of people that use marijuana for medicine, and I recognize its benefits as medicine, and it's not for everyone. Not everyone has the ailments that are present that would be healed with marijuana. So it's not something that everyone has to do or should do.
But now it's if this synthetic weed gets to a larger population, or where people don't know exactly what they're smoking, that could be a really bad situation.
Absolutely. And it probably doesn't have any of the medicinal properties that the natural product does. So instead of healing anything, it's just creating more of a downward spiral for the individual in whichever ailments they're feeling. Because if we're taking a mood-altering substance, that means that there's something malaligned. There's not a balanced, grounded, open heart and calm mind. So we're desiring something, like even coffee, right? It's a mood-altering substance, and I recognize that the caffeine, it gives me a certain sort of like buzz, and that's lovely. And I need that buzz because I'm feeling a lack of something. And so it's the same thing with every substance. And if people are taking a synthetic substance that doesn't actually have any healing properties, it could be, it's disastrous.
Yeah, I find it really interesting that, like, if you look at any illicit substance, how, like, the industry seems to always want to, like, target exactly, like, can we just get this feeling? Like, can we single that out? Like, I don't want to get the whole marijuana experience, but, like, this little piece, it's trying to extract that. And, like, especially when you look at synthetic chemicals compared to more natural substances, is that like really the path we want to go down? Because it's interesting, like, even when you think about, like, MDMA, like ecstasy, like LSD, all derived, extracted from a natural source. But it's like, I think this is what you were saying, is what are the other elements of that source that, are they're quintessential to that experience? Like, you smoke marijuana, there are so many compounds in it. do everything. They help you. They help you go up. They help you come down. They help your body heal. For getting rid of all of those things.
It's almost like there's a complexity to nature that allows for it to be natural and process properly,
and
right?
Wholesome,
Wholesome, sustainable. And as soon as we pull out just one item of it, I actually watched a great documentary on CBC. I love CBC. It was David Suzuki, Nature of Things, and it was like the downside of getting high. I think that's the title. I could be really wrong. It's the recent Nature of Things. And it was really great coverage about individuals who took on a lifestyle of marijuana, right? So that means smoking every day, like a lot, basically sustaining a high all the time. And through that sustaining of the high, they lose the medicinal properties because it just becomes the needing more. It
becomes an addiction more than medicine.
Absolutely.
Well, that's with most medicine when you think about it. If you take too much of it and you just continue gorging yourself on said medicine, you're just going to become addicted. Your body's going to, like coffee. That's why I don't drink coffee, because I don't want to create a dependence, because I know people who have to drink coffee every single day, or they'll get jitters, or they'll get headaches. I don't want that.
And that's the thing. When you're off that substance, you don't feel the same. You don't feel.
You can't create that state for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that addiction of always being on that substance, imagine people getting addicted to this new...
It's called Spice, I think. Like, there's multiple names, but I think we're going to stick with Spice for now.
We'll call it Spice.
It's really interesting. I was in Central America for 4 months, and we traveled back up through the Tijuana-San Diego border, and they were looking for spice almost more than they were looking for marijuana.
Whoa.
Like, they were digging through people's bags, and like there was someone in line that had a pipe and marijuana in their bag, but the first question the guy asked was, like, he held it up and he goes, "Is this spice?" And it's like, it looks like it's that much of an issue down there.
Supposedly, I was reading an article on my phone, and several of the things like 26 of the chemicals in this thing are illegal. Like,
wow.
And like Congress is trying to make everything in this composition illegal. Like, the fact that people have eaten other people, eaten animals and like eaten children, that's messed up.
No, this needs to be stopped. Like,
I agree.
It's very scary.
It's also interesting because I was doing some research on this as well before I even heard about this story. And what is happening is that people create synthetic marijuana. They release it. People smoke it. People have different experiences. And then the state moves in to be like, no, like, this needs to be a controlled substance, this needs to be illegal, whatever the terms are. And then what they do is they take it and they just slightly modify it, and then it's not that product anymore, and they re-release it. So there have been like hundreds and hundreds of very, very minute changes in synthetic weed that keep getting like regulated, shut down, they're made illegal, and then they just... It's like people are eager to just keep this market alive at any cost.
At any cost. Here we go again to the bottom line.
Money.
Yeah.
This is the problem when people start to get addicted to it, and they need that drug, and they will pay for it, and things get out of hand. You know, when does it stop? When
are we taking care of each other instead of just trying to get money off each other?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's important. I'm going to take myself a little break right now. And it's 11:05, so we are on the countdown to the end of the show.
Yep.
And we do have Shamez, who we can talk to at Kensington, Friends of Kensington Market, BIA, so we can do that.
Okay.
We could also run the interview that you did with Chris. Speaking of the bottom line, speaking about money, it'd be cool to go into that interview that happened yesterday. That was really awesome.
Sure. I think that interview is about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So if we want to air it, we should probably queue it up soon.
Okay.
I'm going to have to run back about 1:30.
Thanks, darling.
And hopefully I can snag Mr. Vaughn.
Oh, okay. When I saw you walk in the door, I was like, "Oh, he recorded it, and now it's here."
No. He'd really like to do it live. He's really
Okay.
He's really into what we're doing.
Okay, we just so you know, we have to be done by noon because
Yeah, we're on the
get a show.
countdown.
Sure.
So,
Yep, I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna take my little break and
Excellent.
love you. Yeah.
should we play some songs, or what are we doing?
Well, how was your trip
I'm
to?
getting Ariel's thing ready.
Ariel's thing's
you wanna
ready.
Put it on now? All right.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a second, and then we'll be ready to go. So talk in the meantime.
I'm gonna relinquish the mic stand. I like this format a lot better.
So let's hear
About Adam Vaughn.
yeah,
Well,
before
his
we.
car broke down this morning, so he had to take it to the shop, and then I guess he took a taxi here. But he had a meeting at 12:30 that he didn't seem to be aware of because he just sat talking with me, waiting for the phone line to get free. So hopefully he'll be ready by 11:30.
It's 11:07 right now.
Okay, well, about a 5-minute walk down there. But actually, it was really interesting. We did get a brief chance to talk about the state of affairs with Toronto's municipal government and the media frenzy and the crack story and Rob Ford.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was really funny. He had a sticker. I don't know what it was. It was just posted, stuck to the wall, and instead of saying Mayor Ford, it said FROD, fraud. And you could tell he cut the 2 letters out and swapped it. So very very vocal about his opinion.
Who did that?
Councillor Vaughn.
Adam. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Cool. Well. All right. Well, we have your segment, Ariel, ready to go.
All right.
Are you ready to watch it?
Let's do it. This is just.
You want to introduce it for us?
Yes. I went down to talk to some shoppers.
Can we show Ariel while she's talking?
Some shoppers at Yonge and Dundas, just to see if they were aware of what's going on in Kensington and how they feel about where they shop and where they buy their items. So it's short and sweet. Let's show it.
All right, so let's check it out, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Ariel Banbento, reporting for thatchannel.com, asking people near Yonge and Dundas Square how they feel about shopping at a Walmart or big corporations or at local places such as Kensington Market or other markets. Like shopping in the malls or local?
Yeah, malls. Like Eaton Central and Shelby Gardens and the Square One, because I can find the cheaper products and I love them.
Would you rather go to the mall and shop or the local stores?
Well, it depends on the store too, but probably the mall.
The mall? How come?
Because it's more variety. Plus, I think that there's like different choices and there's different stores. Yet, once it's local, you just have like, well, I guess little variety and little difference between the things.
Have you ever been to Kensington Market?
No.
No? How do you feel about Walmarts?
Well, it is a department store, so you can get anything you want from there. So, pretty positive.
Awesome. Thank you. Would you rather shop near the malls or at local places like Kensington Market?
I think we would rather shop locally
we usually do. We just happen to be here today, so we kind of did a little bit of both.
Have you ever been to Kensington Market before?
Kensington, no, but we love St. Lawrence Market, and we are hoping this summer to get to Kensington.
Awesome. I just have one question for you. They may build a Walmart near Kensington Market. I know you've been to St. Lawrence, so you can kind of picture it there. How do you think it'll affect Kensington Market?
It definitely affects it. We're from a small town in Huron County, and as soon as we got a Walmart in our little town, the town's core center, which is a beautiful square, a lot of the shops had to close. So it makes a huge impact, and anyone that says that it doesn't is trying to fool you.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Ariel Von Bento, thatchannel.com.
That's really good. Uh-oh.
Oh, we're not live.
That
Excellent.
wasn't us. Okay,
We're
can
sitting
we
here today
actually-
with Chris Lambe, who's a member of Comer.
You're just gonna have to give me a
Comer being the Committee on Monetary and Economic Reform around early 80s.
Yeah.
Founded.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you could do us a favor and just give us like a really quick summary of what Comer is and what Comer's doing right now.
Okay. The Committee on Monetary and Economic Reform is pretty much a think tank of citizen groups, old professors, economists, business professionals, and even a few politicians like Paul Hellyer, for instance. It was founded by
Monetary and Economic Reform.
Oh, we're back live.
Well, the board's frozen, so.
Go back to that thing.
You want me to go back to it? Yeah. All right then. I'll start with the then.
Should we intro it?
Yeah, I think intro would be a good idea.
If this does go back to the interview, we're interviewing Chris Lambe, who is an ex-occupier and now part of Comer, sort of breathing new life into Comer, which is movement for economic and monetary reform here in Canada.
Okay, can we play that?
Yeah, sure.
Excellent. We're sitting here today with Chris Lambe, who's a member of Comer. Comer being the Committee on Monetary and Economic Reform around early 80s.
Yeah.
Founded?
Yep.
Awesome. If you could do us a favor and just give us like a really quick summary of what Comer is and what Comer's doing right now.
Okay. The Committee on Monetary and Economic Reform is pretty much a think tank of citizen groups, old professors, economists, business professionals, and even a few politicians like Paul Hellyer, for instance. It was founded by a man named Bill Krem and John Hodson, as well as a few other economists at the time. John Hodson was really a huge believer in trying to go for monetary policy, focusing on monetary policy, and trying to get the Bank of Canada to return to its original mandate of creating loans, low interest loans for infrastructure, investment into capital, human capital, things around that. So it's a think tank that tries to come up with solutions to yesterday's and today's problems by looking at history and trying to think up new ways to try to kind of approach things. And for a long time, they've been focusing strictly on monetary policy, Bank of Canada, Bank of Canada, making them live up to the Bank of Canada Act, the government in general. So that's kind of what Comer does right now, but there's also a huge expansion happening right now because of the Occupy movement. It really connected a lot of the younger generation into what Comer was doing. So now we kind of begin to meet, and there's these broader concepts coming along, like local currencies, and there's really the dialogue is really opening up at this point. But I think overall, moving forward, Committee on Monetary Economic Reform is very much focused on trying to get the government to properly enact the Bank of Canada Act and for the Bank of Canada to really do its duty to the people.
Gotcha. And we were in Ottawa June 1st, did the rally, the talk at the Bank of Canada itself. What else is Comer doing to try and build momentum, bring awareness to the issue, especially over the next few months? I know a little bit about the lawsuit that's happening.
Yeah, two of the main members or leading members, I'd say, right now, Bill Krem and Ann Emmett, have launched a lawsuit with Comer to try and actually take the Bank of Canada, the governor of the Bank of Canada, the Queen, as well as the finance minister to court and actually say, like, this is against our human rights. You're violating our charter, you're violating our constitution, because right now, you know, poverty is an issue in this country, and there's a proper system set up to try and deal with it, but you're not dealing with it. And, you know, this is how you're screwing the people, basically. So they go through a whole list of things, from like the government's involvement with the BIS, so the Business of International Settlements, which was the kind of like, it's similar to the IMF, but it was one of the first, I guess, international conglomerates where all the finance ministers of every major central bank and stuff like that, or the governors of all the central banks, come together, and they kind of like talk about policy, but it's always behind closed doors. It's never open. And even within the Bank of Canada Act itself, it says like none of the governors of the bank can meet with any other officials of other countries and discuss things behind closed doors. Everything anything to do with the Bank of Canada that the governor has to say is on paper and is released the day of.
Right, transparency.
Yeah, it's complete transparency, whereas the BIS meetings and some of the International Monetary Fund meetings, so the IMF meetings, are not that at all. And like in 1974, they actually had a meeting, and all of a sudden we went from giving out infrastructure loans to, you know, municipalities, the province, the federal government, for all these amazing things like, you know, social welfare, unemployment insurance, creating the Trans-Canada Highway. Like all these amazing things. We put veterans to school, like to university, when they came back from the Bank of Canada. So, and all of a sudden 1974 comes along, there's a BIS meeting, and they come back, and all of a sudden, like, never again. So obviously there was something said in that meeting, and that's why, you know, it's kind of a conspiracy. Like, they're taking it to court, and they're trying to actually defend conspiracy laws. They're saying, like, this is a conspiracy. There's talk behind closed doors, and we don't know about it. And this is, you know, we can see the outcome here, the graphs. Here's the information. Here are the accounts, and, you know, there's an issue here, and it has to be addressed. So they've been going at that for almost 2 years now with a lawyer who actually he actually worked for Omar Khadr. So he's a constitutional lawyer. He knows his stuff. He's a really good man. And I think moving forward, we have to try and get a lot more people to back that idea, because they're just dragging it out in court right now.
Right, and that was going to be my next question, is that Comer seems to have these ideas of what their goals are, what they want long term. They want monetary reform, they want infrastructure loans. But how do we get from talking at Ottawa on the Hill to getting those actually in motion and movement?
Well, we actually have an economics class that we run every week with Dick Sandbeck. It's called Occupy Economics, and every Tuesday at the Steelworkers Hall. I think there's a little bit of a break right now. We're having a summer break, but usually most of the rest of the year, it's every week consistent. We go through the whole thing of how money is created, money's origins. So once upon a time, money was actually a shell. It's called the cowrie shell, and it was an exchange because they were semi-rare shells that only came from one part of the world, and then, you know, they move around. And like, there's so many different forms of, you know, exchange that's gone through our history. And so it's important for people to understand how money was developed, what we used to use for barter, and kind of how it got to what it is now. So the classes kind of start at the beginning and move their way through about 10 weeks or so, and then, you know, it'll start all over again with kind of a little bit new ideas, because it's very participatory. It's not like someone's just up there in the front saying, this is what it is. We want people to share their information, because there's always somebody who knows something, you know, that other people don't know. So that's been really successful lately. Actually, since the march, the rally in Ottawa, and also the rally on May Day, we handed out a bunch of flyers. Like, every week there's more and more and more people showing up. So it shows that this is an issue that people really, really care about. And actually, I think what just passed or what's just coming, it's kind of blurry right now, is we have, like, monthly, there's a big kind of like celebration where we try to get a lot of the different activist groups together, and we kind of try and relate a lot of the issues that everyone's having, like tar sands, poverty, you name it. It's kind of like we want to try and bring it together and say, like, we have to focus somewhere And there's already been momentum, like Occupy was about, money, corporatization, bank corruption, and look how many people showed up on that day. Like, there's momentum there, and the solutions, like, the problems weren't solved. We didn't come up with any real solutions, and people didn't really understand the whole Bank of Canada issue. It was more, we understood the Federal Reserve, we understand, fiat currency systems, but we don't understand our own information from where we come from, like in Canada.
Foreign to us.
Yeah, it's foreign to us. It's like, it's funny that we kind of make fun of Americans for not knowing much about Canada, but then, talk to a Canada about like monetary policy or municipal politics, and we fairly know little as well. So I think we're coming from a route of trying to get the information into people's minds and get them to understand what's happening, because people want to know, but it's so difficult. Like, I think that's part of the issues with economics and monetary policy in general, is that they make it so intricate and so they unsimplify something that should be simple. They turn it into this maze, and whenever you want to try and find information, it's just, you have to dig through these papers and these graphs that make no sense. And it really shouldn't be like that. So.
Right. And I have noticed Comer does a lot of education. And even, you look at their Wikipedia page, for instance, like, it's a publishing center. And so it seems like they've always been about spreading that information. But let's say everyone's on board and education systems are successful, there still seems to be disconnect. I'm at least a little unclear about, you get everyone on board with the issue, then how does that transform into getting the infrastructure loans and the monetary reform?
We need the public pressure. Like, any change in democracy that's ever occurred is because the middle class was there to back it up. But the middle class, if they have no understanding, then, we're never going to get the pressure enough for this, for instance, the case to move forward. Like, we showed up there at the case in the room, and, like, it's really funny because we actually had a protest outside before it started the night before, and there was a bunch of people who camped out front. And, we got a lot of pressure from the security guards and whatnot. And then the next morning, we go into the original case room, like, where they were going to hear the court, and they moved the room. Like, they moved the court case to a smaller room, even though they knew that there was going to be a bunch of people there. So we had more people show up for the court case, than there was room for in the the courtroom that they moved it to.
Right.
Which is like, it makes you begin to question. Like, why did you move it? Why did it have to be moved? Yeah. There wasn't any other large group, like, waiting to hear a case. But we were there, and you decided to move it. And it's like, it's these little things that our government does, and, that our courts do, that we really have to start questioning. Like, it's this whole issue of monetary reform, like, it goes a lot further than that. But I think this is something that we can try and get movement behind. Try and get people out to, there's a Bank of Canada office here. It's in one of the largest buildings in the city. Let's go over there and, have an information session. But the bottom line is that people need to understand it. We have to have the public pressure there first before anything else can move forward. Because without that, like, a bunch of people lobbying government, like 50 people or, a group of 10 going there and trying to inform like public officials, it's just not going to work, because they already know the issue, and the reason they don't push it forward is because that public pressure isn't there.
Right.
They need the public pressure to do anything they need, especially on this. Like, Jesus, the only violent act he did was kick the bankers out of the temple. Like, that says something, because it's always an issue. Money has always been an issue. It's the same issue that arises every 1,000, 2,000 years, whatever it is, probably even 100 years. So we have to try and get that public pressure there, and then the movement can occur, and then we can begin to actually get infrastructure loans. We can get zero, we can eliminate our debt, because debt, that's always the reason that we can't do something. We can't do something because there's too much debt. Well, why is there too much debt? Because you're borrowing it from somebody that you've given a lease to even be able to do that. Like, to create money, that's, someone signed a paper and said, here, you can do this. But who really owns that right? We own that right. Socrates said that money isn't natural. Money is man-made. Money is law. And as law, it should be dictated and looked after in a democratic way, by democratic society. It should be oversought.
Because we're all affected by it.
Exactly. We're all affected by it. The world that we live in now, especially capitalism, like, money is power. Ask anyone on the street, what is power? And they say money. And like, spirituality, they'll say love. Love is power. But you know what? At the end of the day, the ones up top, they aren't thinking about love. Some of them are, but a lot of them are thinking about power. A lot of them are saying, how can I get more power in this? And at the end of the day, when somebody hands them $10,000 so they can go and run a larger campaign and get more ads up there, because right now you have a bunch of people looking at the TV screen and that's how they vote. They don't actually read the mandates or what they stand for. Like, that is power. Money is power in an ignorant society, and unfortunately, we live in an ignorant society. But it's getting past that, which is good. And I think that's why it's important that the information, Canadian-specific information, needs to be out there. Just kind of build momentum slowly, and then, see what happens. Just keep on pushing and see what ideas come up. But that's really the plan. Keep on. It's information, and move forward. Try and, the lobbying group helps a little bit. You got to find your champions in office. So we're going to try and do a little bit more of that, do lobbying. It's been done in the past, so we kind of know from like Bill Cram and Emmett, a lot of the older, Comer members that have been around for a long time. Even John Hodson, like he wrote economics books for Ryerson and York University, and gave tons of speeches all around the world. And this issue is coming up everywhere. Like, you have a group, Positive Money, in the UK. You have a group down south, AMI, the American Money Institute, and a few other ones. We even have Kristen Wong-Tam is going to go and speak at one of the talks on monetary reform down south. It's like there's momentum building everywhere, but because we weren't so hard, we didn't feel like 2008 crash as hard as everywhere else. There's like this tendency to be a little bit more lenient, like, oh well, we're okay. But if you actually start reading the headlines and past the headlines, you actually look at the numbers, like, we're not okay. Like, we're not okay at all. There's 300,000, 500,000 homeless on the streets in Canada at any given moment. Like, that's an issue. There's 22,000 people downtown every single day that go to get a meal at a meal program. Like, there's more people going to what are they called? The open kitchens, and like getting their food there than ever before. And before 1974, there wasn't one. There's only one food bank that you could, because you didn't need it. And that's because we actually took care of people. We gave a crap about people. We understood that if people don't have money in their pocket, they're not going to survive in this world. And money isn't natural, so we shouldn't expect people in this world to naturally be able to, conform to that.
Right.
So,
or accumulate it.
Exactly. Yeah. Some people just don't want to.
And I think it's really interesting, like, you're sort of painting the picture of Comer, this monetary reform movement, as being like one of the main roots. And, as you follow the roots out, you get all the sort of branch causes and topics and movements and passions. And, we've been doing some work on the Kensington Walmart, the development plans around some of our local sort of culture-rich neighborhoods. And it really brings a comparison between what we value as our culture, as our heritage, Kensington Market, the Bank of Canada, and what we're fighting, which is these ideas of like corporate, they're offshoring for taxes, they're cutting corners wherever they can, they're raking in profits. So it seems like a really great connection, and I'm glad that you talk more about educating all of those smaller groups, because we need, like you said, we need to find ways that everything comes together. How would you, if you had a chance, and I've heard you MC live at Ottawa, so I've heard you bring a lot of passion and intensity behind this topic. How would you share that with people who might be ignorant on monetary reform, but very passionate about something like the Walmart development, the tar sands, like any of these smaller hot topics right now? How would you bring them into Comer, and how it could play out for them, be beneficial?
Well, I think kind of the branching issue is the issue of like, we don't have enough money. We don't have enough money to keep this land a park or a small business. Like, we need the money. We have to sell this to the corporations because, the corporations are going to pay us for it. But we don't need their money. That's dirty money. Like right now, for instance, another topic that's happening, or two issues that are happening right now about like things that are owned by the people, is the Toronto Island. Toronto Island is actually trying to be sold. and that's been held privately for years. The lease to actually be able to do things, but it's still held by the people. And what's going to happen when Toronto Island gets sold to somebody that is just there to try and monetize it? All of a sudden all the trees are going to get ripped down. Like, you have no idea when it's all about money. There's something gets lost in translation, like trying to be able to keep our publicly owned buildings, like Casa Loma, for instance. Like, there's no money to try and upkeep it. So what's their semi-solution is getting people to privatize it, or put a restaurant in there. There's these little things where it's like slowly they're giving things away, like things that are publicly owned and were publicly owned and fought for because people understood the importance of having public space, or having space for more community-oriented buildings or small businesses. Like, it takes money out of the pockets of those that you need most. So I think trying to bridge people onto the topic, it's really about trying to make them see that to the politicians, the bottom line is we don't have enough money. And when we talk about Comer and we talk about the Bank of Canada can fix that. Getting money from the Bank of Canada can eliminate the debt. We won't have all this massive debt. We'll have money to actually invest and keep land private or publicly owned. Build a park. We don't have to worry about the money and selling a portion of it to, some huge building developer that's gonna, completely ruin the whole fertile land and, ruin the views, or like whatever, all these stupid things, like hurting businesses by having a Walmart come in and like around a bunch of small businesses. Like, this doesn't have to happen. And their excuse is always money, 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 money. So if that's their excuse, we don't have enough money, if that's always coming up, eventually we have to address it. Like, that is a root problem. It's a root problem for a lot of things. And without that understanding, we're not going to get anywhere. Like, the reason that Occupy fell apart is because we didn't focus. We didn't focus on the money past a week. As soon as we dropped that, everyone was like, what are they there for? But when it was about that clearly, when everyone was looking around the world, seeing what was happening in Occupy Wall Street, 15,000, 20,000 people showed up on the streets because of the money issue. So, like, this is what we have to focus on as a collective activist kind of, society or community. We can focus on all our little issues, and not to say that anything else is little, because, there's plenty of issues. But if we keep on being divided and, like, everyone's energy is somewhere else, but there isn't a common link, then we're never going to get anywhere. Like, we're always just going to be divided. When you're divided, you become conquered. It's nice to have people focusing different places, but there has to be a common ground somewhere. There has to be a strategy. And I think money is the strategy. We all can agree that, money is an issue in this world. If you don't have money, you're not going to go to that protest. If you don't have money, you're not going to feed yourself. If you don't have money, then you're going to have to be living on the streets with your 4-year-old kid. So, it's a real issue, and I think people see it, but it's too daunting. So even you're looking at me asking these questions, and it's like, I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers because I'm trying. And every time I try, I get to learn a little bit more. But it's really hard because it's, people are passionate about different things. And you have to just we have to try and bring people together a little bit more, especially here. Like, Montreal is really successful at bringing people together and making them focus on, for instance, the issues of student debt. Money, student debt. So we have to try and find, like, a common ground, something that's really going to touch people's, like, beyond their intellectual thinking and their logic, and more about their heart. So, like, for instance, I had a panel discussion at St. Stephen's Church down in Kensington Market, an awesome, amazing, like, church that's been very activist-oriented for a long time. And there was someone who came in there. I think his name was Marvin. I can't recall his last name, but he helped fund, or not fund, but bring about the child poverty movement. And he said before they got into the child poverty movement, they were talking about women's poverty. Mothers, young mothers that had no money to pay for, the baby's food, this, that, and the next thing. But because they were focusing on the woman, and you had all this hate in the world, it was really easy to attack that issue, and they didn't have a lot of people jumping on board because there was just so much shit being thrown through the windows, or whatever you want to call them, what are those glass doors outside? Next subject. But anyways, so It's just you have to find something that's going to talk to people's heart where they can't throw it out the window. So they move from talking about women's poverty to talking about child poverty, where they're like, you can't attack the innocence of a child. And I think that's where we have to come together. We have to find something that touches all of us in a heartfelt way. And I think just talking about monetary reform, money, that doesn't touch on a lot of hearts. People understand it, and they understand the logic, and there's understanding, but there isn't that deep understanding that you need to actually move forward and get the issue to be addressed by your politicians, by your government, by your public officials. So I think it's really about trying to talk to people and find what comes.
I also notice, especially when talking to the demographic, like my parents, their age demographic, and kind of explaining what Comer does, monetary reform, like, Bank of Canada versus the private banks. A lot of people can't shake, like, I've always banked with TD, like what's wrong with RBC, like they give me, or concerns about like inflation, like, do we know how this is actually going to play out, all the I guess like the ripple, the wave.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know, are we safe, are we secure? A lot of people are really housed in like, yeah, we're broke, things are hard, there's a lot of issues, but it's been this way for a long time, kind of comfortable in the water right now. So how do you, and I think that's partially what you're addressing in terms of monetary reform, getting people inspired, is something you have to push through as well. Mm-hmm. So what would you say, how do you feel about that attitude?
The great big inflation issue, it's really easy. It's a really easy answer for the other side. And I think that's the bullet. That's the bullet that the government officials and the politicians will give you and the banks will give you, is inflation. But then you look around the world and what is the world doing right now? Quantitative easing. That's pretty much the same thing as just printing your money. And the real answer is, like, there's an answer that says that if there's an issue with money, like your citizens don't have enough money, that means there's room for that money. There's room to create that money. There needs to be spending happening. In order, if we're going to live in this capitalist society where we're focused on economics, we have to talk about political economics, democratic economics. And democratic economics is making sure that every one of your citizens has money in their pocket, so they have purchasing power. So then that purchasing power gets exchanged, because money's meant to go around, right? And if people don't have that in their pocket, you're not going to have anything happening. So there's room for that money to be created. There's room for that.
So it's all just naysay.
It's naysay. It's really naysay. Like, look around the world right now. Look at the United States. They're using quantitative easing. All quantitative easing is creating money, and right now, technically, what they're doing, they create money and they give it to corporations, because they say, here, take this. You don't have to worry about your taxes, or take this and invest it in a new factory. And the money isn't actually going there. The money's lining their pockets. And here's a bonus, CEO. Here's a bonus, board of directors. That's where it's going. It's not actually getting into the hands of the people who need it. It's just getting into the hands of the people who don't need it, because they're the ones who already have a bunch of money in their bank accounts, right? Because they're all leveraging, especially right now with all the low interest rates. Like, that's a solution for the central banks right now. Keep interest rates low, and more money will flow. That's their mandate. But where's that more money flowing? It's flowing into the hands of the corporations, because now, instead of investing $100 million to go and start a new business, they're investing $10 million to start a new business, and then getting the rest of the $90 million from the bank, because they're leveraging it. Because it's so low interest, they don't have to worry. They'll still make more money borrowing that money and creating a new business, and then the profits that come from that business, than it would take for them to just invest the entire amount. So they have $100 million in their bank account, but instead of investing in one business with the full $100 million, they're investing in 10 businesses for $10 million, and then taking out the loans for the rest of the money they need, and then just gaining the profits and gaining the profits and gaining the profits. And that's the issue with how they're trying to solve the solution now, because you still have a bunch of money sitting in bank accounts. Because at the end of the day, they know that when the economy crashes, they can just buy up everything.
Okay, we're here on the air, hitting the home stretch here on the show. It's me, Hugh. We have Nahum Mann live from City Hall with Councillor Adam Vaughn. And Nahum, you are on the air with Adam Vaughn.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, thank you, Adam, for doing the interview here today.
No worries. Good morning.
Good morning. So, talking about the proposed Walmart near Kensington Market, from what I've researched, there seems to be a lot of opinion that it won't harm the market in terms of a business, in terms of the economical aspect. So it almost seems as though it's more of a raw motion of. You disagree?
I'm not sure what kind of research you've done, but Walmart is and the project that's proposed on Battery Street, just at the gateway to Kensington Market, is in direct competition with many of the small independent merchants that define what Kensington Market is. And Kensington Market, for those that aren't familiar with it, is probably the most spectacular neighborhood in all of Canada. People, busloads of tourists come through this neighborhood on foot. They get dropped near it and they walk through it. The neighborhood that surround it depend on it for the fish and the cheese and the bread and the fruit and vegetables. It is the counterculture center of the city. It has a pedestrian festival that allows people and artists to take over the streets on Sundays. It's a spectacular neighborhood and an amazing history, and part of what defines the city of Toronto as the city of Toronto. Walmart would set up shop right on the border, and would come in and sell virtually the same line of goods that Kensington sells, whether it's fruits and vegetables, whether it's clothing, whether it's the service that are provided to construction trades. There's a lot of shops that sell to construction workers there. You name it. Virtually everything that Kensington sells as sort of one of the staples of Kensington is found inside of Walmart, and it's found inside of Walmart at a lower price point, and it's found inside Walmart sometimes because the way they can bulk purchase at the food terminal, they buy better quality food than you can get in Kensington. Add to that 300 parking spots, and all of a sudden, if you're coming downtown to shop, you will stop at Walmart. You'll go into Walmart. Whatever you spend there, you won't spend in the market, and that to me tells me that there is a huge economic catastrophe heading our way. And when you take that profit margin out of green groceries in particular, where profits are razor thin, their ability to sustain themselves and sustain the market evaporates very quickly. So it is an economic calamity waiting to happen, and Walmart, who is amongst the most aggressive in terms of occupying supply chains and choking off their competitors' access to goods and services, Walmart takes no prisoners when it moves to a community, and so I'm extremely worried about what's going to happen to Walmart, and I think that this is an unbelievably aggressive approach to a very fragile neighborhood, which is cherished by many, by thousands, and so it's got to be stopped.
And in terms of stopping it, what role does City Council have? What role do we as citizens have in that? The proposal and the
land around Kensington has been zoned in a very particular way to stop large format retail from coming into the neighborhood. So the Walmart proposal is about 10% larger than it's allowed. And I think that we have an obligation to respect the zoning. But the zoning prohibitions against large format destination retail outside certain areas of the city asks you to measure the economic impact. And if your economic presence is going to displace smaller merchants, it's also not permitted in the zoning bylaws. So the city has a responsibility to defend the commercial enterprise known as Kensington Market. But Kensington Market is more than just a market. It's a neighborhood. A neighborhood's role and responsibility for defending the unique character of that neighborhood, which is recognized as a National Historic Site, soon to be a Heritage Conservation District. And I think that if the planning department is serious about building walkable and lively neighborhoods, it should study Kensington, not destroy it.
Yeah, and I think that seems to be another opinion is what Kensington stands for in terms of local sustainability versus Walmart, who's offshoring, resorting the cheapest labor and the cheapest goods all the time.
The world comes to Kensington to shop in by foot and by sort of by tradition. The world is a supply chain for Walmart. I mean, it reduces everything to the lowest common denominator, and yeah, sure, a lower price point, but it's not about local economy. It's not about local ingenuity or local variety, and it certainly is about local interest. It's about bringing a global platform to a neighborhood and destabilizing a community. And it's just in the same way that it was chased out of San Francisco, the same way it was chased out of Guelph. It's not the right format for the downtown core. It'll do harm not just to Kensington. It'll probably do damage to College, Dundas, and Queen as well.
Honest Ed.
As far north as Bloor Street, it's going to have a huge economic impact. And if you want to know the kind of dynamic that's at play here, take a look at the Dufferin Mall and take a look at the stretch of Bloor Street between Christie and Lansdowne. That stretch of Bloor Street has struggled for the better part of the last 50 years. A large result of big box retail with big surface parking lots moving into the Dufferin Mall. The stretches that are further away from the Dufferin Mall, those stretches of Bloor Street do amazingly well, whether you're talking about Bloor West or the Annex or out towards Danforth. But when you bring in big box, large format, global retail to small, intimate neighborhoods, it displaces the local and does so at an extraordinary cost, and that's why our zoning prohibits it, and that's why the city has to fight it.
Excellent. I think another really great thing that this topic has done is really brought us away from the media frenzy that's happening here at City Hall. Just in terms of, there's the outcry from citizens, and you and Mr. Layton as well have shed your voice. How can we continue to sort of grow that symbiotic relationship? Because it is pretty strained right now.
Well, I mean, most of us got elected to City Hall to build strong communities and to find innovative ways to sustain groups that are being either marginalized economically, socially, or culturally, and to try and make sure the downtown's diversity and mix is sustained. And that's the art of saying yes to very complex projects. It's not really the politics of just saying no to anything that comes along. It's not what we're about. But every now and then a bad idea comes along, and you've got to make sure you stop it, whether it's a casino or jets on the waterfront or big box retail in the downtown core. And so we're set for that fight. But there are bigger issues at play here. It's how do you grow Kensington, not how do you protect it. This city needs more Kensington markets, not a smaller one or a non-existent one. But in terms of the diversion, I mean, those of us who are doing our work here, as opposed to participating in the media scandals, I mean, there are some big issues. The jets on the waterfront, the Walmart issue. We just defeated the casino. There's some big, bad, stupid ideas which have to be stopped every now and then. But I'd rather talk about, from day-to-day basis, the little things we're doing right. The Market 707 on Dundas at Bath is around the corner from where Walmart's coming. There's a project where with repurposing old shipping containers, we've turned a stretch of Dundas, which has no retail, into a vibrant little business district with miniature little pop-up businesses starting that give life to local entrepreneurs and give opportunity to small businesses to start, but at the same time provide a variety of independent, unique services to the community and activate a streetscape in a way that makes it walkable and enjoyable and on a Friday night, dare I say it, fun. That set of challenges is what we're better at doing than necessarily fighting the big fights. We fight it when we have to, but it's the imagination that Councillors Layton, myself, and others like Gordon Perks and Kristen Wong-Tam, it's the ingenuity that we bring to the office that I think is more interesting for us personally, but also better for the city as a whole.
Excellent. And I believe the next public hearing is July 9th.
There was one public meeting that was so well attended, close to 400 or 500 people showed up, then about another 200 or 300 got turned away. There's a petition on change.org that's kicked in. It's already passed 80,000 people. Another large community meeting will be held on July 9th to try to explain what the planning dynamics are at play here and to hopefully try to get the city's chief planner, Jen Kiesmat, who talks a lot on social media about wanting walkable neighborhoods, to get her department to actually defend the city's most walkable neighborhood. Hopefully that meeting will continue to build the opposition to this terrible idea.
Excellent. And will you be there? Of course. Excellent. Well, I encourage as many people that can come out, that are passionate about this, to come out, which is at 7 p.m. here at City Council.
In the council chamber, July the 9th. July the 9th. 7 p.m. And we need all hands on deck for this one. It's not just about protecting Kensington, it's about protecting neighborhoods like Kensington right across the city. And if it can happen to Kensington, it can happen anywhere, and that means the end of small business in Toronto, the end of major streets that serve neighborhoods well in Toronto, and it's just surrendering our city to market forces rather than building a city for people.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Adam.
No worries. Have a good day.
Yeah. Back to you, Hugh.
Okay, Naim, that was awesome.
That was. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No problem.
Ciao.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit. Well, guys, okay, so there we go. So, well, that's about it. We got about less than 10 minutes left, but...
I'm feeling inspired.
Are you?
Yeah, very much so. This is the first time I've done anything like this, and I've met new friends, so my horoscope was right.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I really now feel a little bit like, all right, I want to get out there and see how I can express myself and my values in my community and let that ripple all the way around the world.
Okay.
It's good.
That's good.
So, we'll end early maybe.
I like how you kids are so optimistic.
I better be optimistic. Uh-oh.
And
Ariel, how about, what do you think?
Yeah, this was awesome.
Really?
And yeah, I'm ready for the next thing. Just ready.
Okay. So what are we going to do? Now, we talked about what we're going to do next, Veronica. Like,
Next up.
what are we going to do next?
I think we're going to have a meeting, which we also record because a lot of us love the newsroom. Aaron Sorkin is a pretty talented writer.
I haven't seen that show
You
yet.
got to see the newsroom.
Can you email me when it's on?
Well,
On what channel?
it's not on. You're going to have to download it right now because they'll come back in September.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's beautiful, and it's about like how the news is produced and then digested. So it's very inspiring, and I like our recording of our meetings. So we're going to do another meeting soon and record that and talk about how we can continue on these conversations about individual power in this crazy world of ours instead of the
Okay, so so we did it. We said we were going to do it.
Yeah.
We said we were going to do it even if we weren't quite sure how we were going to do it, and we did it.
We did it.
And we actually did most of what we said we were going to do.
We did it.
Right?
High five. Woo.
High five.
Good job, guys.
Ariel, high five.
High five.
So,
very successful.
Well, we should thank everybody that's been in the meetings. Lamar, who came in today, who kind of saved the day for us.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have had anyone to switch.
It would have been just one shot the whole day.
Yeah. So, why don't we wrap it up? And because we're getting ready for Liquid Lunch coming on in about 6 minutes right here on thatchannel.com.
Awesome.
And you guys, if you're going to stick around, you get to see what that is
Looks
like.
and
Even
is
it's
and-
going to be a little bit different today than what we have been doing, but we're going to be using this set.
Awesome. I really love this set. Yeah, it works really
it's great
nice.
for the round table conversation thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do more of that.
Okay. Actually,
you.
you want to give out any final
Oh, you're right.
addresses or anything like that for people?
Definitely. There's Rising Tides Toronto on Facebook.
Yeah.
And they have tumblr.com with just an R, no E. And then hashtag Swampline9. And there's a lot of support that's needed right now. So get informed about what the tar sands are and how it's affecting us in Toronto and how it is going to spread all over unless we do something about it. And
Okay.
we can.
Also, I would like to give out the Bank on Canada information.
Yes.
Is it victoryfortheworld.net?
Victoryfortheworld.net has a lot of great information. It also has an implementation plan, which a lot of people are really concerned about. How do you achieve what Chris was talking about with the Bank of Canada Act being actually fulfilled instead of ignored?
Yeah.
So it has a full implementation plan on victoryfortheworld.net.
And that's referring to the interview that NAM did with Christopher Lambe that we saw about 20 minutes ago. And
That's right. And there's also an event on July 2nd at Steelworkers Union Hall, which is about economics.
And of course, people can also look up Comer as well. That's how I say it.
Yeah, I know some people say
C-O-M-E-R.
Comer
Yeah, that's
and
weird.
Comer. I know.
Comer.
COMER.org.
.org?
It's .org.
Okay, good. Comer.org. Okay, Ariel, any stuff you want to give out?
Just glad to be here and helping out and
a great segment, by the way.
Thank you.
It all worked out
Thank you.
really well.
Can't wait
So
to
thanks
do
for doing
more,
that.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So you know what? I'm going to play some tunes now.
Cool.
You know, I mentioned to Nahum about JJ's. Remember?
JJ's. Oh, in the California style neighborhood?
California style neighborhood. JJ's is a swingers club It's the one I go to.
Oh.
It's
That's funny. I didn't know that about you.
when I go there, I just play bass.
Cool. Okay.
In this band with Paris Black, and I'm going to play a track by Paris Black right now.
Here we go.
We played JJ's a few weeks ago, and it's a great song. So maybe we'll play a couple, and we're going to get ready for Liquid Lunch coming up in just a few minutes right here on thatchannel.com. So we'll see you then.